what I struggle with over the years is that pressure to kind of like, oh my gosh, it's the new year, everyone's setting goals, everyone's setting da 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 da. If that works for you, that's absolutely fine. But for other people, then it puts a lot of pressure on them to actually, oh my gosh, I've got, when they could be needing a reset, like you're talking now. That reset could come at any point in the year.
There's no pressure, you know, we're not production machines. We don't produce because we're keeping up with the hustle culture that is in the world. We're coming at this of a different kingdom, a different spirit, a different frequency, and we're coming at this from the place of the fullness of his life within us.
We become aware of what we're unaware of when we decide to. It's really that simple. We become aware when we decide to become aware. We are that powerful. He made us that way.
It absolutely, scripture also says out of the heart flows, right? So we have to be aware of what's flowing in our heart, and that comes from intention, that comes from awareness.
I think it's going to be a cool episode, guys. Welcome to season 5 of Creative Space. We're thrilled to see you all again. It's been a wonderful kind of Selah, restful time over Christmas. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm really ready to start engaging the year. So today we have the very awesome and the long-awaited Elizabeth Cooper with us. I feel like we should do a round of applause.
Elizabeth's in the house.
I'm happy to be here.
I feel like every episode we were saying last year, Elizabeth hopefully is going to be with us next time, because that was your intention, wasn't it? But never quite happened.
Yes. Yeah.
But you were here today, and we were living the now. And what I love about Elizabeth is, even though she's been crazy busy, which I'll let her fill you in on, she has kept in touch. I've had messages every month, and her heart and her spirit has always been with us. And she's been doing phenomenal, amazing things with her Patreon, and she's been writing a book and doing loads of other stuff, so I'm sure she will fill us in on it. But we're thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you.
Everyone might be noticing that we haven't got Rob Townley with us. Usually we have a bit of masculine energy. That's not here. In the form of Roberto, but he's actually away on an adventure in California doing music things, so that's quite exciting. And we're looking forward to hearing from him, but there's lots of new things to fill you in on, actually. So before we get started tonight, we are going to talk about living awake. That's what the discussion is going to be on, and we've got Elizabeth who's going to do a breathwork meditation with us, which will always be great. So first up, I want to say, if you haven't got a pen and paper, but we know Elizabeth has because she told us earlier, get a pen and paper, because this session, it'd be great if you can make notes. I have my Creative Space journal here.
Ooh,
Only available at conference, guys. They cost too much to post, but it's full of art paper.
Oh, it's lovely.
awesome.
Good notebook.
Yeah, it's a good journal. I love this size of journal. But make some notes as you go along, and it's good. I think it's going to be a really good episode. But have you got anything to update us on, Rachel?
Anything to update you immediately? No, just coming into the year gently, just letting Papa unfold things. We do have a kind of a small announcement, which is a sad announcement, but a joyous announcement as well. We're not actually doing Joy Fest this year, but we're giving Papa breathing space to create something new and fresh and expansion. So we'll see what pops out the other side of 2026. So we're having a slower start this year, because this time last year we were planning and budgeting for our UK Joy Fest. So just enjoying the slower start, really. And we've got a lot going on at the chapel. Saying that, we're traveling and yeah, looking forward to visiting a couple of new nations. So that'll be awesome. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's been amazing, hasn't it? We've had so many people visit us at the chapel.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
come to us, guys. If you can't, if we can't come to you, come to us.
Yeah.
We've got this little chapel in Wales, and it's a beautiful place. Rachel's
Yeah.
pimped it out. She's done all her interior design stuff. But more than that, the glory's here, isn't it? We love
Beautiful.
engaging God's heart and His presence together. It really is, even though it's not an official house of prayer, we pray here. You know, it's a beautiful space, and if you can't come physically, we are actually online mostly every other week on Justin's Facebook page with our ascension and mentoring worship sessions. So you can kind of catch us there, and it's really great. We never know what's going to happen. Justin's just finished a series on the cosmos, which has just been absolutely amazing. It's called mentoring because they're always stretching topics, which I personally love. And a bit like creative space, you know, we're not gurus. We're not kind of come in to say this is what you guys should think and believe. We're asking the big questions, you know, and that's something that we want to touch on tonight is how do we ask the questions to engage the answers that we need from God, because sometimes it's about asking the right questions and even asking any question. You know, quite often we're having this one-way conversation. So I love the fact that, you know, with everything that we do, it puts us in that posture. So let's all get in heart coherence together. And I'm going to hand it over to Elizabeth now, for you to kind of lead us in a meditation before we have our collective discussion. But it's great to have you with us, Elizabeth. We've missed you so much. I did anyway. I'm sure other people did, but I did. I'm speaking for myself and myself only.
No, we missed Elizabeth.
Oh, well, I missed you guys too, and happy to be back. Happy to be, coming into kind of a new season for me in my life, and having come through a pretty difficult season the last several years. And so, and especially the last year when I wasn't super present with you. And so very happy to be here, and happy and grateful to be in the place in my life that I am, and that I've come to, and that the Lord has brought me to. And so so I'm very happy to be here. So in the time that I have not been with you today. I've moved. I'm in a brand new house, brand new to us. It's actually an older home, but it's a new home, and perfect for us, and a story of faith and the faithfulness of the Lord. Perhaps one of the most dramatic that I have had in my life. So I'm very grateful to be here, and to be with you guys again, and to continue forward with you. I have kept creative space in my heart, and the creatives are always in my heart, and I work with creatives on my Patreon, and so I've continued that. I've not pulled back on my Patreon in this season. That has been something that has been continual for me, but very excited for this next season. And like Rachel, this has been a slower start this January for me. Typically I am the hit the ground running in the new year, and let's get it, and I'm very motivated, and but this year's been a little different. I'm sure we'll talk more about that, but let's get into a little bit of meditation. We'll just take a few minutes here just to kind of center ourselves. If you are sitting, just kind of sit up straight, and just come into your body a little bit. Sometimes we forget we're in our body. you know? And so I like to move around, kind of adjust, and maybe even give your shoulders a roll and, you know, just kind of move a little bit and settle into yourself. And take a few deep breaths, however it's comfortable for you. I'll get the music going here. And all right, I'm going to take a deep breath through your nose, all the way to the top, and exhale through the mouth. Let those facial muscles relax. Take a deep breath through the nose, all the way up, and let it go through the mouth. Nice, big, easy exhale. In through the nose and out through the mouth, and feel the settling of your heart into what is true and good on those exhales. So as you inhale, see the light coming in, and it's filling, and you are light. And then as you exhale, you settle into the truth of that, the reality of that. Continue to breathe, and you can breathe at your own speed, whatever's comfortable for you. Those nice deep breaths are really good. But as you breathe in, we know that the breath of us is the light of Yahweh in our body that fills our entire being. But it is the thing that wakes us. It is the thing that makes our heart beat. And so I want you, as you breathe in, to feel the feeling of awakening, of life of every kind coming into the body, residing in your entire being. Every kind of life, every form of life, as you breathe in, it is in you. And as you exhale, settle into that reality. Sit in the place of the light of Yahweh and awakening, the awakening of your heart to this new season, 2026. I want you to, with your breath, wake your heart up to dream again. Maybe there's places in your heart where you haven't allowed to dream. Maybe they've been shut down, but with the breath, with the light of Yahweh coming in, let that light flood those places today. Breathe in, awake and alive and fresh and new and full of every possibility. All things are possible. Let the breath wake your heart into new possibility. Let your breath wake your heart. Bring that breath straight into your heart today. And on this next breath, I want want you to breathe, and just in your imagination, I want you to see that breath going directly into your heart. So breathe in to your heart. See it going in, and that light filling, and the breath filling, and every form of life in that beautiful, powerful heart of yours is awakening. All things are possible. We sit in the place of the awakened and alive heart of Yahweh. My heart in his heart in my heart. My dreams in his dreams, and his dreams in my dreams. And as you feel the effortless flow of your breath in this place, feel that oneness. Feel that rhythm of life and awakening. Just take another deep breath. Come back. Okay. All right. I'll toss it back to you, Janine.
Oh, wow. I love your meditations, Elizabeth. And Tanya does awesome meditations as well, actually. It's something that meditation's been one of those things that, because I'm a worship and an ascension person, I've had to kind of learn meditation, that it's a practice and a tool to just settle my heart to go in and come into that still place and just think on Yahweh, think on my Lord, my Savior, the one I love, but also prepare to be open as well. That's what I love about meditation, is it brings this stillness so that you can access the things of the deep of his heart. So you can feel, can't you, how you just, your whole nervous system just becomes still. And that's really and truly how we hear the voice of the Lord, is in the stillness. That's where he speaks from. He speaks from that still place that we only hear when we engage our heart. You know, it's not in the busy brain state. It's when we kind of go in. And so what I love about meditation is just, it almost teaches you to go in and remember what it feels like, so that when you're not in that state, you think, oh, hang on a minute, I actually need this. I need to come back, recollect myself, and kind of go into that place where I can hear his voice. So thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. And I just want to pray before we kind of start the discussion. Lord, I just thank you, Lord, for every beautiful union flow creative, Lord, that's on this call, and everyone who's going to watch the replay back. Father, I just ask that we would, as we kind of go into this new year, and as we just discuss this amongst ourselves, as the hosts and also in the comments, Lord, that you would just be part of unfolding and expanding that conversation. Lord, I thank you, Lord, as we've just come into that beautiful deep place, as we've just attuned our hearts and our minds into the stillness, into the deep, where we can hear you. Father, I pray, Lord, that we would just hear the voice of wisdom tonight, Lord, as we speak. Lord, that you would really spark new revelatory things and dreams and the things that we all need to engage, Lord. Whatever we need to hear, Lord, tonight, each and every person, Lord, I pray that this would be a fresh, new conversation for us all. And Lord, I thank you for clarity. I pray, Lord, that we would just engage clarity as we speak and discuss, Lord, tonight the things of your heart. And that it would be a beautiful conversation, Lord, full of wonder, Lord, and full of life. I just thank you for the oneness, Lord, of this beautiful community that we have in Creative Space, Lord, and how it's grown. It's so beautiful. We just thank you for it. Thank you, Lord. Okay. I thought, so we've got some guests lined up for the rest of the year, but I thought tonight it would be really good just to kind of, as a community, just really talk about some things about the beginning of the year. Because I know everyone approaches the new year in a different way, and as creatives, we kind of, we always want to be doing stuff, don't we? Or there's new projects, there's new ideas, or there's maybe continuations from last year. So I thought it would be an interesting thing just to see how us being 4 different people, 4 different personality types, 4 different scrolls, 4 different ways of kind of engaging God's heart, just to kind of discuss that. So and if you can, feel free to chip in on the comments. We've got the comment section up, so you guys feel free to chip in as well. But so the first question I just wanted to ask everyone is, let me just get my notes up so I keep in the flow. Is this new year a thing? As in, is it something that we should think, right, I'm going to start afresh and come up with new ideas? Or because, we're timeless, and also some of us love all the Hebrew stuff, we might not think it's the new year. There might be other times of the year where we engage that kind of thing. But I just wondered, I know where I sit on this, but I just wondered, Elizabeth, Rachel and Tanya, like, how do you feel when this new year comes in? What's your perspectives, and how do you engage God for what is to come? Elizabeth, I'll start with you and then toss it round. Nobody will speak otherwise. I know how this works.
Okay. My mind is going a few different directions here, so let me we were talking about ADD brain before, so it's a little bit like that. So stick with me here. All right. First of all, is this new year a thing? Should we engage with it? Honestly, I think every new beginning is for me, it's a great check-in. and it is a marker of sorts. But then on the same hand, we are timeless, right? Yeah. But as humans, we do have these markers. We do have these kind of anchor points. And so for me, if this is an anchor point for you, then grab onto that and make it an anchor point. It is somewhat of an anchor point to me. Of course, I do more engage with the Hebraic New Year, and that is to say the biblical New Year, not Rosh Hashanah, which is civil, right? So we have this is our civil New Year in the Western world, and then there Israel has their civil New Year, which is Rosh Hashanah. But it's not biblical, right? So the biblical New Year's in spring. I kind of have all these little check-ins, and I do it multiple times a year. I take advantage of all of them. And so
Right.
so I, in the fall, it's kind of like with every season, I have a little bit of a check-in. I have a little bit of a reset. I have a little bit of a like everything is and so I do that, and this is winter time, and so I look at what is, this is my check-in, and this is my, from here, what do I see? And then, when spring rolls around, that's new year for me, and then we have summertime and fall. Spring and summer kind of mesh together for me. So I guess I do like three big sort of like anchor points. And, always keeping in mind, though, that there is the quantum, there is this timelessness. And so I don't tie myself down to these calendar things, but I do realize that there is energy in the earth upon these anchor points. There's energy in the earth when the calendar turns around to the next year in January. It's true. So, whether or not, we talk about, is it the new year? Is it not? Is it the biblical? Is it the Hebraic? Is it this? Is it that? For me, it's like the New Year's in spring, that's the biblical New Year. However, there is energy in the earth in January when that calendar switches, because there's this momentum, right? So I take advantage of it. And I love it, again, this year for me has been a little bit different. Normally I'm way in visionary planning mode, and I kind of it's hard for me not to do that. I've had to very consciously pull away from that, because I felt like this year I needed to step back and let's just be quiet, be quiet for a month, and just kind of almost reset a bit, just from my own personal life, from what I've kind of gone through in the past season, like coming into this new season, this new era in my life. I needed to, instead of being so excited and oh my gosh, the page is turned, the book is closed, yay, let's move forward, gung-ho. And I do feel that, but I had to kind of stop myself and go, okay, but let's just slow down and do an actual reset. And I stopped myself from making all the plans, doing all the things, this, that, the other thing. Yes, I did release a book. I've been working on this book for years. So
Just
yes,
a book,
that did happen.
just released a book.
I did. Well, but this has been in the making for a while. So if you don't have that book, shameless plug, go get the book. It's called Zion Splendor. Here it is. Look, I've got it. I've got a couple of copies on my desk.
That's awesome.
But this book is really, it's really special to me, and the voice of Zion is calling through this book. And so and the voice of Zion is in the earth, and it's in us. And so the time to favor Zion has come. I really feel that, but I'm digressing, and I want to toss it to somebody else. But that's how I engage with this new year. It's an anchor point. There's energy in the earth. So let's go. And however that looks for you to sort of alchemize that energy, do that what is right for you as a creative, to be healthy and move forward in the way that is best for you and most fruitful for where you're at with your scroll. Do that. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Next.
I totally agree, Beth. I agree with that.
Okay.
Because what I struggle with over the years is that pressure to kind of oh my gosh, it's the new year, everyone's setting goals, everyone's setting da-da-da-da. If that works for you, that's absolutely fine. But for other people, then it puts a lot of pressure on them to actually oh my gosh, I've got, and when they could be needing a reset, like you're talking now, that reset could come at any point in the year. We're
Yeah,
very flow kind of people. So this time
exactly.
last year, we were just talking before the call came on. This time last year, me and Janine were budgeting for our UK Joy Fest and booking one of the biggest venues that we'd had in the UK. And it was a massive decision financially, spiritually. And this year, we're not doing that at all. And it's felt really good just to sit back and just let our spirits breathe, let Papa talk to us, let the Holy Spirit just lead us. And we've started the year by doing some encounter nights, some prayer and worship with people with no agenda, just coming to be with Him and letting Him talk to us. So I love that, take the pressure off people to actually set any goals. But if you come into the year like we did last year with something to go with, you go with that as well. So I really think that you really need to tune into what Papa wants for you for every moment of the year.
Come
You
on, that's
Yeah.
good.
So that's
Yeah.
that's how I handle it because I get very excited about new things. I love diaries, I love stationery, I love the whole highlighter thing. I often end up buying Janine a little new notebook, things like this. But I love all that and I do that. But at the same time, this year we've just sat back a little bit and going,
Mhm.
okay. And
Mhm.
you know what? The creative ideas just start popping.
Mhm.
And then I've got too many. And then you have to reassess and go, okay. And you sit in each one. Well, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm sitting in each one and going, okay, where's the energy? Does Holy Spirit want me to do this? Does he want, and feeling where the more energy is that what we need to be engaging with our time and our time, we are timeless, but we've got to manage our time as well.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So again, I've just been reminded of wisdom as well coming into the new year because I think every decision that we make needs to be done with wisdom and
Mhm.
discernment
Mhm.
and no pressure. No
Mhm.
pressure.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's where we're at.
I think I agree with everything you guys say. It feels very, yes, yes, like that feels fun. For me, it's the same. I think I also came into this new year just, even though there's big things happening for me this year, I entered this new year with that space of rest.
Mhm.
And I think if I had to go with what Rachel is saying, I'm also one of those people that can dream big and dream a lot.
Mm,
And there's always creativity coming. I call them my shiny objects.
nice. I
Right?
like.
And I think the thing is, we can sometimes run off with all of these shiny objects because,
Mhm.
oh, it's a new thing. But I feel this year for me personally, it's not about starting something new, but it's building what we've already started.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so in the past, it might have been a stop-start journey kind of thing. The year has ended, and now you have to start afresh. But I think for me this year, I didn't have that. Let's set a new goal. Let's set a new vision. Let's start all fresh. It's more, what are we building on for the kingdom? What does that vessel look like for this year? Um, and then what brick do you need to remove in order to replace a new brick?
Mhm.
And I like what Elizabeth's saying as well, is these moments is about seasons. Like it's the Issachar, like knowing the season that we're in. And sometimes I think we don't take the time to actually recognize that season, and that's the ebb and flow that
Mhm,
we have to go in and out of. So
mhm,
for me, it's very much all of that for this year, just sitting in the moment and seeing what needs to flow and what needs to ebb,
Mhm.
and just letting God be God in the moment.
Mhm.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Always kind of start at the beginning of November, before the new year kind of comes in. I don't know why. I think I throw everything into the year when it starts. So usually like November and December is a time for me where I'm kind of starting to engage and ask the Lord like what is it that and almost like reflect on the year that I've already had.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I come in holding in my heart is that I don't need to do anything. It's the world doesn't need anything that I do. I don't need to do anything. Anything I'm going to give my time and energy to is because it's from union. It's from that place of the overflow. Like nothing I do is going to add to who I am, or like my relationship with Yahweh. Nobody needs to hear any of my songs. There are songs that are just for me and him, but also with a sense of actually I'm created to do all this stuff and I enjoy it. There's a lot of life on it as well when I give the energy and the frequency of my heart and what I'm created to do and flow it into the things that I'm meant to do as well. So there's always this tension between I don't need to do anything, but also I'm created to as well. So what I do is I every year, like one of the things that the Lord spoke to me one year was about creative space. So every year I kind of go, right, Lord, here it is. They're all writing books, they're all producing songs, they're making amazing art. Is it time for it to go? I gotta do that with it and see whether, I meant to continue something for a year. Because I don't know why, but I've always kind of had this thing where I like to give something a year of my time almost, maybe because I'm always been a project kind of person. And I enjoy the journey of the project. So it's never like lots of little things, but I'm always willing to kind of give up that thing or change it. And I thought it was interesting what you said, Tanya, about that it's not necessarily a new thing, because I looked at that scripture which it says, behold, I do a new thing, and I wondered what that Hebrew word was. And I'm not going to say what it is, Elizabeth, because my pronunciation will be horrendous. But if you want to know, go and join Elizabeth's Patreon. But in Isaiah it says, see, I'm doing a new thing. And I thought, well, what does that word new actually mean? And I'm not even going to try to, you guys can look it up. It's Chazek. Oh, she's looking it up.
I don't know.
Chazek, I think.
Hazek.
Hazek, everyone.
Welsh, you can do this. Hashtag.
Yeah. Which actually means that it doesn't actually mean brand new, which I thought was interesting. It doesn't mean something that hasn't existed before. It actually means to renew, revive, to make alive again, to restore vitality. It's actually about announcing life, of God's life into something. And I think what I found in my journey is that, sometimes there is a removal of something because it's come to the fullness of its life. It's served its purpose. And that's how I see it, with everything we do. They're like little seeds. And are they fully grown kind of oak trees, to use that analogy? Or is it something which needs to metamorphosize and become something else? And usually these are things to do with me. So that's another way that I kind of look at it, is like, how can, what needs to be tweaked in what I'm doing? How, what newness of life is going to come into the thing that I'm already doing? And that does come from a place of rest. But usually for me, that begins November, kind of December time. That's why we don't really have that much going on, apart from this year's been different. In December we had a couple of meetings at the chapel, but normally we don't. Normally December's we don't do anything, but we actually did this year.
December's Christmas. Justin switches off at Christmas.
Yeah, Justin gets into Christmas zone and we lose him. The Christmas realm. And that starts way before Christmas, doesn't it? So which is great. But for me, that's what I do. I kind of hold stuff up. So I just want to challenge you guys, all of you tuning into this call, because you are creatives. And the one thing I want you to know is that there's no pressure. We don't create, we're not production machines. We don't produce because we're keeping up with the hustle culture that is in the world. We're coming at this of a different kingdom, a different spirit, a different frequency, and we're coming at this from a place of the fullness of his life within us. But there might be new breath, you know, and that's why I loved what Elizabeth did with the breath meditation that needs to come into this. So just, you know, as we're writing, just make some notes and ask those questions internally, because this is, you know, what the exciting thing about us all journeying together is. Share in the comments, and also feel free to share in our Facebook community that we've got group going, because we love to hear from you. So that's the first question. The other thing that helps us with this is a very practical thing about being aware and how to be aware. You know, obviously meditation or praying, engaging God is a way that we can do that. But I wanted to ask you guys, and if, you know, feel free to put in the comments as well, is how do we become aware, and how do we ask these questions? How do you do that, Elizabeth?
This is such a good question. Awareness is everything, right? Because reality is reality, and the reality of heaven in us, and the reality of our access to all of heaven and the created world and the universe. And I mean, it's huge. We could go off on that for forever. That's reality. We don't necessarily always live aware of our connection to it, right? So one of the prayers that I pray, the intentions of my heart, I set my intent. It's very important, setting intentions. When you set, it's like I set my face like flint. I've made a decision to become aware of what I've been unaware of. And so I will often actually say that, you know, even just talking to myself, you know, today I'm gonna become aware of what I'm unaware of, in a very general sense. Sometimes I'm much more specific about it. And I will actually give permission to my heart to become aware in certain realms or in certain spaces that I really want to engage with. Because I think oftentimes we think of prayer as, and this is a big conversation, but you know, what is prayer? And most of the time in the church, it has been taught historically, or insinuated in this space of separation. I pray because I do not have. I pray for because I do not have. When really we need to close that gap and go, I just have to become aware, right? It's already there. The thing is, the place that I sit in is to steward my heart in the place of awareness and engagement. Because the truth is the truth, reality is reality, the power of heaven and Yahweh and the universe he created and all of the energy that goes with all of that is all available for us to engage with, right? And so we become aware of what we're unaware of when we decide to. It's really that simple. We become aware when we decide to become aware. We are that powerful. He made us that way. As kings and priests, we are sovereigns, right? Now, I don't mean we're sovereign like the Lord is sovereign. I mean, we are, let's say it this way. I am not a victim to my circumstances or to the blindness that comes that I've allowed my heart to have in those circumstances, but I am a sovereign who chooses how I will engage in the midst of them. So I choose to become aware of what I've been unaware of. I choose to live awake and aware. And the more we do that, the more we rewire ourselves. We're rewiring our nervous systems. It's just like Janine was talking about. Every day we're you are creating a network in your body about what you're going to believe. Is it hardwired, and how you're going to create your life. This is just the reality of it, right? So we become aware when we choose to become aware. So intention is everything. And I remind myself a lot. That's what I do. That is a tool that is so practical that, in the shower every morning, you'll find me going, I'm going to become aware of what I'm unaware of. Make me aware of what I'm unaware of today. I choose to open my heart and become aware of. There may be something that I'm engaging with, or something that I'm really feeling like, I'm not awake and aware and engaging with that in the way that I want to be. So I'm going to intentionally choose, because you are that powerful. We are that powerful. We've been created to choose. So when we choose, we begin to walk in that path. We begin to walk that. This is an ancient path, right? So that's one of the things, and I think the biggest thing that I could say that I do is the power of intentionality and choosing and making a decision and engaging with your heart to open up and become aware. Yeah.
Good.
Where shall I go? I'm very much like, don't want pressure on people to like follow whatever we say. So like, I want to say things like that can make people engage the Father and what He's got for us in the dreams, and the how He communicates with us all, So for me, I'm going to be real. Some days I miss it. Some days I'm not awake. I am not aware of what the Father wants, But I do make space, and my life is pretty busy. I'm a doer. I do a lot of things, practically looking after the family and everything. But I do, like Elizabeth says, you frame it up every single time. If I intentionally, you put words to actually what I do. So like intentionally make space. That might not be every day, but in the shower, I engage in the shower. Like there's no distractions. Like it's just me and Papa when I'm walking. And you know what? I do use a lot of like natural things that come in. So if I'm listening to a podcast, Papa will just pop things into my head. If I'm watching TV programs, I see the synchronicities in all the little things like that. Like I'm relaxing. I lead my life in rest. So even in the small things like relaxing, watching a TV program, because that's what I do. God's been speaking to me through how teams work, how people need each other in a community kind of like space. And so just in those moments, I go, okay, Papa, so that's how that works. And He's speaking to me in and through everything that I do every day. And obviously Ascension, I do some meditations, but it's not the same every day. I'm very kind of like fluid in the way that I engage and find that way forward. So yeah, hope that's helpful.
Yeah, that's good. And that's union, isn't it? If you're watching the TV program, you're watching it with Jesus, and there's you can be seen in that, you can be heard in that. I think it's not the unseen and the seen, it's the not known, and the known is how I like to think about it. So it's almost like if you're sitting in that sweet place, which you do beautifully, Rachel, I know, because I spent so much time with you. you know, it's a never-ending conversation. It's the phone line is always open, and so, but what I love about what we're talking about is that it can be in that, but there, you know, we are sometimes. That's why I kind of look back at you know, zoom out and look at the year ahead, because that kind of sets me on a path. So in the days where I'm not, perhaps, you know, I'm busy looking after my dog. Got a new puppy, everyone. And I'm in puppy glory, because I, you know, that's just as holy as when I'm warming on the stage. It's, you know, it's enjoying life and enjoying the beauty of his life. I enjoy him in my puppy. So I think, but that union is what kind of keeps you from getting into the frequency, the hustle and the striving, and I've got to do something, because it can be quite easy to think, right, I've got to get up, I've got to do a meditation, I've got to do all these things. But in a sense, if you start like that, you've already not really in the right frame of mind for it. I think awareness is spot on what Elizabeth said, is about being awake. That and when I kind of looked up some scriptures to see if there were any scriptures about awareness, the ones that came up were all about being awake, really, and not sleepwalking through life. You know, wake up, you sleeper, rise from the dead, and it says, and Christ will shine on you. And I thought that was really interesting, is like when we're awake, there's this place where Christ is shining in us. Because if we're passive, then there isn't that vigoration of his life in us, is there? So I thought that was interesting as well, about the, you know, being awake, and being in union is being awake. That's the thing. But awareness is kind of also, I think, just being super tuned into the moment, which again, the practice of meditation helps us, because we begin to feel what it's like to be in that. Our bodies can remember the feeling, so we know when we're kind of rushing ahead. Like I love caffeine, so you know, sometimes if I drink a cafetiere before before the day starts, you know, it doesn't matter how much meditation I'm doing. there's no bringing that down. I'm wired, you know, and I'm learning kind of, okay, that's not a good thing to do. You know, I'm gonna, because it's more helpful for me to be in those expansive states. But it's all okay. It doesn't matter, like you say, Rachel. It doesn't matter. We can just start again the next moment, and there isn't any pressure. What about you, Tanya?
Yeah, I do almost all what you guys are doing. I would say one of the things for me that's really important is the feedback loop. You know, creation speaks to us, our dreams speak to us, what we're creating is constantly speaking to us. So sometimes the feedback loop is giving you the answer. Spirit gives answer, creation gives answer. So for me, I do the same thing in just pulling back from everything. I'm also a doer. I'm also let's get it done kind of person. So I have to constantly pull myself out of the things that I do. I sometimes do these meditations where I go back into beginningness, and I sit in the beginning of the project that I'm busy doing, or the painting that I'm busy doing, or the vision that I'm busy doing, and practicing on, and I withdraw completely, and I sit in the beginning of it, almost unraveling all of it. And then ask the Lord, what is new? What am I not seeing? What do I have to let go of? So it's almost recreating, but you're already in the creation of it. So there's just, it absolutely, scripture also says out of the heart flows, right? So we have to be aware of what's flowing in our heart. And that comes from intention, that comes from awareness, that comes from pulling into ascensions and meditations and pulling out of our doing into spirit. And like Rachel, with your watching movies or videos or programs and stuff, I do the same. And I also find sometimes with my art, when I create, I go into this meditative state when I use the paintbrush, and that's often when the prefrontal cortex is quiet. That's usually when God can speak to us. So that's why some of us find it in our dreams, because we're not thinking about it so much. You know, when that part is quiet, then spirit starts operating more and more in that space. So yes, it's from the place of oneness, from the place of listening, the loop, what the mirror, Christ face to face with the mirror of Christ, what's the loop, the speaking, the voice coming back to us. Yeah.
Good. How are you guys doing? Are you finding this helpful? um, you know, and just have a think about these questions and ask yourself, well, how, you know, how am I aware? What does the practice look like for me? You know, and another thing that I love when it comes to the beginning of the year is just thinking like how did I use my energy? Which part of that was good and which part of that wasn't so good? Where did I have wisdom in what God's actually already given me? Because the other thing is that you can be so busy with all this stuff that you don't actually make the most and have wisdom in the things that He's already kind of given you as well. So I think, you know, it is sometimes good to have these whenever we do have these reflective moments. Like for me, it tends to be I look back at the year and think, well, how do I want to shape my year? How do I want my life to be as well? What do I want to spend my time doing? You know, I got to mention my puppy again. I bought a puppy because I really miss not having a little dog in my life. I realised that there was a lot of glory on the furry animals
A lot
and
of joy.
a lot of joy, and I just love the company. I love going for walks with Annie, with my dog and that kind of thing. So I thought, you know, I can spend, even though I love making music and I love spending time doing that kind of thing, which is also awesome, you know, I felt like I needed a bit more of a balance. I needed a bit of grounding. So that's the other thing that you can look and see, like what beautiful things do I need to bring into my life to enhance it? And that might just be, you know, having date nights or, you know, whatever it could be to you. I won't go. I won't say all the things that are in my head. Get in trouble. My random popcorn idea brain. But you guys know, you know, there are things that you know, and it's and the thing about being awake is that you do think and ask these questions with the Holy Spirit, with wisdom. You know, we have access to the most infinite, amazing, infinitely great clarity, wisdom, all the things that God is. You know, my brain can't even put language to it. You know, we have we have FaceTime with, you know, God, you know, so amazing. So I think it is good for us to sometimes be asking these questions. And that's the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, sometimes it is about the questions, like what questions, my challenge to you guys is, have you put out and you're waiting for answers for? And I don't mean questions like, did, you know, what happened in the Garden of Eden? Those kind of theological questions. I mean, questions to do with your life and what you're doing, or, you know, they could be those questions as well. But sometimes I think that we need to ask more questions and await, and it takes time sometimes for that, His divine impartation of His voice to come back to us. But it does. You know, and it may be, you may be answered through a TV program or a podcast or a conversation with a friend, or He might speak to you in the middle of the night, or you might just get the download when you're in ascension. He uses all these things, but sometimes it's not an instant answer. You know, sometimes we pray, end of conversation. And I think that's the other thing that meditation is amazing for, because sometimes I think, oh, you know, I keep on bringing my mind back, because meditation is different for ascension. Ascension is you're engaging and you're active. Meditation is you're calming your mind so that you can go into a deeper place in ascension, really is how I use meditation. But sometimes when you're in those meditation states, you're open because you start to feel it. You feel the wide expanse of the spirit. You feel how like vast it is. All your troubles are gone because you're in that place where you're in his presence and you're aware of it. So sometimes the answer just comes, in that place as well.
Yeah. Got a few questions, Janine, popping
Yeah,
up.
go for it. I was just looking.
Joseph says, when I'm in flow state, it can sometimes turn into an all-night journey with God when creating. My struggle is when to pull back and give this flow some time to rest. So have we got any thing of how we can kind of like advise on how to rest from that flow? Does anybody get that?
I understand that because I can get hyper focused.
Mm-hmm.
I think again, for me, meditation's been amazing. It's one of the reasons that we haven't shied away from it with Creative Space, because I feel it's so helpful for creators, even if you don't have a practice of it in your daily life. Even coming on this call and engaging it, you start to feel it. For me, I know when I go out of rest, when I'm kind of, it's a feeling when I've gone out of the place of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I go beyond and I can feel the burnout because
Good
I
plumb
love what I'm doing so much. Sometimes I just think, oh, and I'm a starter finisher, so I just want to do it till the end. But I've learned that it's okay to leave it, that I can come back to it. And usually when I've done that, it's been better. My songs have been better, or the production have been better. And that actually goes against some of the advice I was listening to. Some creatives, they won't let up until they finish. And if you're feeling good, that's okay. I think there are times when that's good, but I think this is where the practice of recognize what's going on in my body right now.
Yeah.
Because if you burn out, you kind of wreck your nervous system. I don't know the medical terms for it, but I just know the feeling of burnout is not nice. And then you kind of stop the rest of the week because you've kind of given all your energy into that moment, and you kind of wreck it for the rest of the week. So I think being in the rhythm and in the flow, as I like to say, is a really important thing to learn. And this is where awareness is so life changing. It's a tool that we have to learn. So I'd say if you start feeling anxious or you feel that you're on adrenaline, then that's the time to pull back. I don't know if that helps, Joseph.
Can I give it from a body perspective real quick?
Sure,
Yeah, go for it.
Usually what happens with us in flow state is that we've spiked our dopamine levels. And as artists, we have a tendency to do that because we like that. Like that is our flow state. That's when we, or as someone that's in sports. So we have a tendency to spike the dopamine levels. And what Janine is basically saying is that we have to learn in our body system with this flow state happening is not to put our dopamine highs on the end result. Not put it on, oh my gosh, I'm going to finish this thing, but we actually spike it in the journey, enjoying the process of what we're creating and not looking at the end result. And take what physically happens in our bodies is if we celebrate our outcome too much, like we make a really big thing out of it, and we spike the dopamine at the end to that high level, you can crash your dopamine and body and adrenaline, and it takes your body up to 21 days to normalize back into that state. Whereas if we spike it slowly in our journey of creating our projects, then at the end, when you finish it, you just go, oh, that was fantastic, but you don't make a big thing out of it. Then the body takes 3 days to come back to that state. So that means we can get into flow state, rest for 3 days instead of having this thing of
21 days of feeling so tired that we can't even get into the new one. Then you just have 3 days of rest, and that will bring you back into flow state quicker. Yeah.
Can I add something to that
Yeah.
as well? Kind of on both spectrums of what you guys are saying. So I think that this is one of the most important things that we can talk about as creatives. Because most creatives and creative people, I mean, I don't care if you're in business or whatever, when you're in that creative flow state, or you have these mindsets, and we do get addicted to these chemicals, you know, our body gets addicted, and we got to feed the beast, right? So one of the best things that we can do as human beings, but especially as creatives who are prone to this kind of thing, is to balance the nervous system.
Yes.
As a whole, think about a balanced nervous system and healing the nervous system, right? So there are ways to heal it and to balance it. And if you can incorporate, like we've been talking about, meditation, breath work is one of the best ways to heal and retrain. What we need to do is actually retrain. That's what Tanya's saying. Retrain your system, rewire so that you're not tied to the end result for that reward to get lit up in your body, right? And so it's really important. Walk. If you don't walk, try walking, okay? It's a great way to balance the nervous system. It is very meditative. So these three things, movement, breath, and meditation, start incorporating these into your life for an overall, like this, I'm talking umbrella, right? We want overall longevity. We want overall balanced approach and healthy ways of creating, right? So that it doesn't do exactly what Tanya's saying. Take us 21 days to, it's just crazy to live that way. And the other thing is, those are very practical things. This is like, but nothing is separate from one another. This is all spiritual, right? We talk about the body. We talk about meditation and ascension and all the things. It's all heaven on earth in us.
Yes.
Okay. So we have to engage with all of it. This is full life, right? One of the things that I think is so important, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this as well, is we have lost connection with our hearts. And we've kind of been talking around it this whole time today, like, becoming awake, becoming aware, but to really connect with your heart. Like, when your nervous system gets so out of balance, we are so disconnected from our hearts that we don't even realize it. We don't even realize we feel bad. We don't realize we're anxious. We don't realize it's just our mode of operation. And so begin to come back and do some meditations that are like heart connecting meditations. We've done some of those here. I do them all the time on my Patreon. Tanya, I'm pretty sure, does them. Connect with your heart. The order of Melchizedek, the priesthood of Zion, is a priesthood of the heart. They live, they lead, they do everything by the heart. But we can't do that unless we live connected to it. And so I think that, overall, these overarching themes are like connect with your heart, balance, and retrain that nervous system. So anyway, over to you, Janine.
So good. Yeah. Somebody asked about how do you align yourself? But what kind of came into my mind when I read that question is about the fruits of the spirit. Everything that we're talking about is feeling the fruits of the spirit, feeling like the love of God, feeling the peace of God, feeling the joy, even self-control, which is the fruit of the spirit, is to kind of think, right, I'm not in self-control right now. Whether that's, and there's no judgment. I think this is, we're not coming at this from a judgment culture at all. We're just sharing things, and like Rachel said, I blow it. I kind of don't do the things I know I should be doing, sometimes the things that are going to help me every day. But what I love is that you just start again. There isn't any punishment, and I don't even engage with that, because
Yeah.
it's pointless.
I felt that earlier on in the call about I wanted to say something about the Punisher. There's like, I could see like this little Punisher sat on people's shoulders. So whoever needs to hear that, you just ignore that voice, whether that's coming in words, thoughts, whatever, just ignore it completely. Put those thoughts if you need like a visual, like in a little trash can in your head, just take absolutely no notice of it.
Yeah, because that's the thing about union as well. I love how when we engage union, we come back into innocence. Not that we weren't innocent, we just remember, and that's so beautiful. Everything that we're saying is from a place of innocence, but also we do want to live these awakened lives that we have in Christ. That's the fullness is his life. So by talking about it, we start to frame it up, and we start to understand it, and we want to start to engage with these things. But I think a lot of it does come back to our inner life, the awareness that we have with our heart, our body, our mind, and having that conversation with God. So there's a few other questions. I don't know how, we've got very long, guys. Maybe I'll throw it out to the comments and see what you guys want to talk about. So I've got questions around spiritual architecture, our scrolls, or what we feel to do, what the new sound is, or heart connection and relationships. So do any of those topics? Let's see what the comments have to say. So we knew we wouldn't get through them all. We can maybe visit them another day. But what would be helpful? I hope this is helpful to you guys.
Got someone saying scrolls.
New sound.
Scrolls. Oh,
Go,
Joanne.
okay.
Hey.
Yay!
Scrolls.
Okay, let's go with scrolls.
Scrolls.
Okay, so scrolls, a very funny word. It kind of came into our community, or I don't know what we are, movement, through Ian Clayton, I would say. Yeah, but the word scroll, which sounds very like when I hear myself say it, I kind of laugh because it just feels like an old bit of paper that's getting opened up. But I loved when he brought it at the time, because I thought, whoa, there's a scroll. Like, I think that's the thing. We mustn't get hung up on words, and actually we love creating new words, and by talking about them sometimes we realize that word maybe not quite the right word for now, but it was a brilliant word that he brought back then, because for me it made me realize, oh, actually there is a scroll for my life, a plan and a purpose, and it's a good thing to think about that, and have this conversation with God, and how do I do that? So I loved how that got brought to the time. I'll throw it over to you, Elizabeth. Do you want to talk about that?
Am I muted? Here we go. Am I unmuted now? There we go. Okay. Where are we wanting to go with scrolls? Scrolls is a really big, subject. Are there specific, are there specific questions that people have about where, like,
I've got
If
some
somebody else
thoughts, but
does
I
something,
wanted to throw it over to you guys first before I. Tanya, do you have any thoughts? Anything that came to your spirit immediately when?
I think what you were saying about words and how we connected to words, we form this little picture in our mind of what we think that should be, right? Like you said. And I think with the scrolls, function, purpose, assignment, identity, I think all of those things are so intertwined. And I think that's what Elizabeth is saying. It can become such a vast topic because where do we want to go? Do we want to go on what is my identity in my scroll, or what is my purpose in my scroll, or what is my assignment in my scroll? And all of those things play together in what we're doing, but which one is it that we want to go into from that perspective? But for me, I would say the very first thing I always think of is my function, is what is the function that I'm playing now, in the future, in my dreams, in my heart, in what God wants me to do, in the flow. Like, what is the function that's currently needed for now? Because I think we sometimes get so stuck on just one thing that but we all have facets of it. Like we all say, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a mother. So there's all these functions, and the way that I'm going to function in my art is not necessarily the way that I'm going to function in my business. So, but there's a cohesive overarching thing, and I think if we can come and we all discover that overarching thing, all of the structure of the scroll fits in underneath, and then we know how we can actually move forward from there.
That's good. Got anything to add, Rachel?
Again, I think one of my mottos in life is enjoy the journey. So a lot of people can get hung up on what is my scroll, and like I've got to find out, and it becomes like this thing in their mind that they have to know. And yes, it is good to know, but enjoy the journey of it unraveling.
Yeah.
Like feeling that paper in your hand. If you want to imagine it like a scroll, feel the paper, think of the paper, let it unravel, and there can be more, and there can be more, and there can be more. Like for me, I don't know the whole of my scroll, and it's changed over the years as well. Like when I grew up, I just wanted to be a mum and get married, and that was what I wanted. There was other things, but that was my main drive. Now my kids are older, it's changing completely. So I'm unraveling that scroll, and I'm enjoying the journey of discovering. And that's where it comes with making space for awareness and the intention of my heart in focusing on what Papa wants for me now. And that's quite exciting because it's almost like a new life now for me, because my kids are in their 20s or late teens, and it's like I've got a lot more time on my hands, a lot more space, and I'm sitting in that, and I'm like, okay, and I revisit. When I ascend, I revisit, and there's a core thing that's been revealed to me about what my life is about, which I always come back to. And I think some things, if they align with that, Papa just wants you to enjoy and thoroughly enjoy your life, and even if you don't do that, he just wants you to enjoy it. So just don't make it a pressure thing. I think that's what I would say. And it's
Yeah.
I
okay
love
for it to
that.
change, as you're unraveling everything. I don't mean like the core thing that's been revealed to myself about what's on my scroll has always been the same. And when it's
Yeah.
revealed to you, you can see it weaved in and out of your life.
Yeah.
All the things that you've done, all the things that move your heart. And you see Papa and everything, that is what's in the core. But
Yeah.
there's so much, I mean, so much that Papa could do and put in your path that you could engage with.
Yeah. I kind of see it a little bit differently now. And this is why I kind of thought it was one of those hot potato ones to put in, because in the past, that is language that we've kind of used. But now I think about it, it's like, what song am I meant to sing? It's more, the more I've kind of journeyed personally, and God might speak to you in a different way. Maybe it'd be about color or play or that kind of thing. But like you said, there's certain things that are key in whether it doesn't matter the manifestation or the assignment I'm doing, whether I'm speaking, whether I'm creating. There's certain sounds or pillars or colors that God's given me to release that are always in there. For instance, union, intimacies, presence, the glory, the cloud. You know, whether I'm singing, it's usually around those kind of topics. So I see it for me that the assignment might change that I'm involved in, but there's certain things that I almost know that's my area. That's my area. Not to say that it can't expand and I can go out of that, but I think that kind of helps me make decisions sometimes. Like if those things don't sound and not in synergy with those things that God's put in me, I probably won't do that thing I'm asked to do. So in a sense, it kind of helps me make decisions. You know, if somebody asked me to do a talk on the end times and the rapture in the book of Revelation, I'm not your person, you know, to do that, because it doesn't kind of resonate with the things that I've got to release of his heart, you know, and we're all part. I like to think of it like the symphony. We use that analogy a lot, and we've all got different parts in the symphony to create this amazing sound. So I think for me, it's more important to know like what is the sound of his heart that you're meant to release, or the song. That's what the Lord said to me, is that we're all the song of his heart, and we all release a sound out. So it's what is it, what melody, what message of his heart have you got to steward and carry and release? And so I think about it more like that these days. And also, you know, I don't think that things are set either. You know, if we've got an opportunity and we decide not to do it, I don't think, well, that was it, you've missed the fullness of God in your life. I know that it says that our steps are ordered, but I kind of see it like he puts me in the direction that I kind of run off into this big massive field of his expanse, because I think, and that he's with me in that, and there's lots of different things to engage within that space that he creates. And you know, I think it's okay to try something and think, oh, I don't think that was the best decision, I'm going to learn from that. You know, I don't think it's as so heavily spiritual, perhaps, that we've made these things. I think that it can be a lot lighter as well. We're all reading the comments, guys, when we go quiet.
I think what you're saying about it not always having to be over spiritualized, I think it's really important, because I think for many people, it feels like if their scroll doesn't match up with some kind of ministry or some kind of way that they have to show up, then it doesn't feel authentic for them and it doesn't feel right. So I think that it's really important to find that space of your heart and his heart. And I think if we can, everything that we do from there, that's why it becomes co-creation. It's like sometimes God wants to hear your heart say, hey, God, can I try this thing over here? And he might come alongside us, right? And he's always in that journey with us. But when we just move through and flow from the authenticity of our hearts linked to his heart, his breath, his will, and it's also a space of surrender. It's constantly surrendering that journey to him. And I think that's that whole let's flow. One of the things I think that's really important is for us to start holding things loosely. You know, I always say love deeply, hold loosely. And I think in that space, if we love whatever we do in the moment and God is in it, if you hold it loose, that's when it can shift and form and change and become malleable. And, you know, so I think in that space, if your scroll today is to be a dentist,
then be the fullness of him in that role. And that will be the fulfillment to his heart. That's what he's going to enjoy if we enjoy it.
And we grow as well.
Yeah,
And so there's in that growth, you know, what was right one year might not be right this year, because
exactly.
every year we've grown in him. You know, we've expanded, we've gone to new places. So new places usually means, you know, different things that open up, or different assignments, if you want to use that language. So I think that's the other thing that is, you know, and that's another reason why I kind of love to ponder and ask the Lord, because I think, like, what should I be putting my energy into? Is this still okay?
Yeah.
Or, you know, will it be better if I spend my time doing something else that is just as, you know, nothing is either or, but actually I personally will grow myself with him, and I'll enjoy it more, you know. One of the things, to give you a practical example of it, is that, you know, I'm putting, years ago, the Lord said to me, every song that I get is like the spark of the yard. Like, it is a spark, but the infinite is behind it. And so I'm revisiting, like, the songs that I have worked on, and he said to me that each one is a message, each one is a book, and that there's more depth in that he's already given me. So that's a practical example of how, you know, what he's already given me, I'm going to go deeper in. You know, and I might not ever share that. There might be no visible outcome to that, other than my own journaling and the, you know, the joy that I have in enjoying him in the revelations that he's given me and shown me. You know, like Rachel liked to say, enjoy the journey of that. And it's been good, because quite often, especially when you're a songwriter, you always love the new song. It's like, you know, you got all these songs, but actually you just want to do the new one. I don't know what it is about something new and fresh. And so it's been almost like more of a discipline for me, not a discipline from God, but just to, okay, I'm going to go deeper in this, and I'm not going to chase the new song, because I can write a zillion new songs. I don't have, that's easy for me, because of, I sit, you know, there's always a new song being sung in hymn, and I hear it. So kind of, I'm not sure I actually write them, is the truth. So that bit's easy, but what's harder is this song that I've heard. There's more depth than what I've drunk, you know, and so I want to go deeper in that thing, and that's why I'm in awe of Elizabeth and Tanya, who's, you know, they've both written books. I have never kind of done that kind of thing, so that's something that I am sort of feeling to put my time and energy into this year. So we probably have time for one last one, and then we will let you guys go. I'm just reading the comments. He
While
might
you're
ask us
reading
to take risks. That's good.
While you're reading the comments, I'll add a little bit into this. The conversation about scrolls is an interesting one to me, and I think that my engagement with my own scroll, and with the idea of scrolls and the reality of them, has really changed for me over the last several years, especially. Everything in my life has shifted and changed, in some very difficult ways, but some very good ways. All very good. Because here we are, and the goodness of God is here, right? So, but where I used to think of scrolls as what is there for me to do? What did I agree to before I came to this earth, right? Because there is that element, and that remains, right? But I think that as we move forward, we begin to, maybe the best thing for me to say is that right now I'm seeing a very specific facet of my scroll and how to engage with it that is not that, but it doesn't negate that, right? I hope this makes sense. So here's where I'm at in engaging with my scroll. That does not negate like every facet that has been talked about here. They're all facets of the same thing. How do we engage with our scroll, right? But right now for me, the most important thing is, how do I live so connected to my heart that I am effortlessly being, instead of thinking about what I should or should not do.
Okay.
And so for me, it's a real heart connect place. I'm engaging with my scroll in this place of, I just need to be and live connected to my heart. And in essence, that is everything that's being said, but there's these different facets of how we do that, right? And so anyway, I just wanted to add that because it's a little bit, I feel like I'm in a very specific place with that. Whereas 5 years ago, I was more connected to, and I needed to be connected to the facet where I was like, what did I agree to before I came to this earth? What did I, like, the overarching, the big thing, what did I agree to? So important for me to engage with that facet of seeing and relating and communicating with heaven and over my scroll. But now I've really just pulled back and gone, okay, this has been removed from my life. This has been removed from my life. I still remain who I am, but it looks very different.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so there's this place of the power of being.
Yeah.
Just I just am who I am. And maybe the most powerful thing that I could ever do with my life is to live by the power of my heart and let that just be the expression of my life in the earth.
Yeah.
That all of heaven could come through that. So that's kind of where I'm at with my scroll, and it's an interesting place, and there's a lot more I could say to that, but it's a big conversation, and it's a big conversation within my own heart right now, which is why when you first asked it, I was like, I'm a little overwhelmed by that question, because this is like, a lifetime of engaging your scroll or your purpose or your destiny, but there's all these different ways we engage with them. Where are we at, and what's the crux of the matter? These are questions I'm asking myself. So
Yeah,
there you go.
they're good questions, because again, we can live in a way that we used to live, which was okay then, but it's not necessarily where we are right now. So I think it's good to kind of think about these things and not just think, oh, I've got this scroll, and even although yes, we've agreed to stuff before we came, that's so big, that could feel like quite weighty for people, and it is weighty, but one of the things that I feel is like, and you nailed it when you said you're living from the power of the heart. That, I think, that is where we're at now. That's really the massive revelation that's come in from God right now into the earth, is us living from the power of the heart. Like if we just think about that, that would change our lives so much in everything that we do. We're not, it says in John, I no longer call you servants, instead I've called you friends. We're friends. It's relationship, it's heart connection. We're not workers, even though it can sound all highfalutin and spiritual. to think we've got all these assignments and this destiny and, you know, these scrolls, whatever language you want to use. But it's actually, how do I move from here? How does that align with your heart? And I think that's what it always kind of comes back to. You know, and even with other people, you know, just to finish on that, you know, I think one of the most beautiful things about collaborating, and obviously creative space is a collaborative space, is that you get to do stuff with people from heart connection and from relationship. You know, it's not like a business network place where, you know, you're going to help me fulfill my scroll and my destiny. No, that's not the right frequency.
Yeah.
It's from hearts. You know, that's a huge thing. Like, so when I work with somebody, I want to get to know them. I'm sending them Marco Polos. I'm telling them about my life. It's not just about the project, you know, even though, you know, you do have sometimes a working relationship with people in the creative sphere. It can be more than that. If when you think of people and you engage your heart and you touch their heart, that's what bears fruit. That's what lasts the test of time, you know. And I think that's another anchor point for us as creatives, especially as we go on this year. You know, if you're going to start doing stuff and collaborations, which we are so framing up with creative space, we've got loads of exciting things happen. I've just started an Instagram. We're working on a new just creative space website. I've got lots of plans that I feel like the Lord's given me for that, so I can't say too much, but we're doing some cool things.
Awesome.
But one of my things is I don't want it to have the frequency of, you know, I'm going to do this so I can get my platform, or, you know, I can release, you know, sell this thing or this product. You know, even though products are a part of it, products are beautiful. I love products. But it needs to have the frequency of heart connection, the motive, the reason why I'm working with Elizabeth, because I love Elizabeth. Whether she turns up and helps me host it or not, her face is still on the flyer. You know, it's not about what we do, it's about heart relationship. And that is what true honor is. You know, sometimes we give honor to people and we say, I honor you, you know, but actually honor is beyond words. It's how we move from our heart, you know, and that for me is something huge this year, that I feel like we're gonna have this beautiful place of true honor in our community and kind of working together, which I'm really excited about. But sometimes when we want to get stuff done, we can be in the frequency of like, forget about the person, I just want to get this thing done. But it's more than that sometimes. So that's probably, we won't go into any other questions. I think that's probably enough for people.
That's great.
So next time we're going to open it up again. We're going to have one of you guys on from the community and probably a guest. There are so many book writers in this group. I've got my desk is full of books to read from this wonderful community. Yeah, but what I'd say is, please can everyone do an audiobook version? I'm throwing that out there. If Rob was on here now, Rob can help you. I love it when the author reads the book as well, because there are just so many books, and I find it challenging, but I'm enjoying so many of them as well. I'm dipping in and out of them, so I'm going to have some more authors on to just talk about their books, because I'm in awe of people who spend time and write a book, especially without AI. Not saying that we shouldn't use AI. I use AI all the time, but I just think it's so amazing to sit and craft your ideas and formulate them in a way, you know, that is wonderful. I really hope to engage that myself. So that's it for tonight, guys. But lastly, I just want to throw it open to Tanya, because we do have something quite exciting going on to tell you about, that you can engage with not next month, February.
next month, I'm going to be on UK soil.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yay.
I can't wait to see you guys. So, end of February, I have my first immersive experience. And I was just listening to all our conversation, and it's all so aligned, really, with what this immersive is about. It's about us just connecting with the face of Christ and seeing the mirror reflect back to us, and that the glory of Christ comes through us as the vessels, as we are the vessels that carry the treasure. So, of his glory, and we reveal that back into the earth. So what does that look like for each one of us as we priest our own scrolls? And it's going to be the 20th to the 22nd of February. And registration is going to close on the 4th of February. We've also, some of you have asked, so we've opened up some day rates for some of you who want to just come in for a day. It's all on my website, and I'd love to see as many creative space people and hug you all and just be present with you guys. It's such an honor to come to the UK and just be present with you guys. So come and see me, come and hug me.
It's going to be incredible because Rob's doing the worship as well, isn't he? And you guys
Yeah,
are going to
Rob's
do
doing
sound.
soundscapes for us. We're also all going to mix our own perfume. I'm going to teach you how I mix the perfumes and the oils and how it becomes a prayer in a bottle, right?
Amazing.
So
So,
how do we do that?
yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I'm hoping to catch up with you while you're in the UK, take you to some
Yay!
cool places.
And someone's
And
asking, where in the UK will you be?
It's going to be at Highley Conference Centre. It's just a little bit north of London.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the name of the
That's okay. They'll know. They can look it up as well. But yeah, north of London is perfect.
we are working on creative space conference ideas. It didn't happen last year, but this is another thing that I'm just kind of pondering and engaging because I would love to get, both Tanya and Elizabeth over to the UK, but we shall see. I'm like that with it at the moment. Because we definitely are in a different season this year of resting and reimagining what can be. So that takes space and time. And just talking about space, I just want to say, feel free to disagree with anything that we've brought tonight. We're not coming as gurus. One of the things I love about actually the blueprint that God gave me for Creative Space was that we mustn't actually be like that, that it was about the voice of not just us but you guys as well, and we've had to learn, like, how can we do that, and again, I move out of relationship, I get to know people and I kind of bring them on. I even if I don't physically have met you, I love reading your posts in our Facebook group. And each of us is engaging in our little groups as well. So I've got the Sound Collective group, which hopefully we're going to meet next month again, because the idea is we meet in between the creative spaces. But obviously Tanya's got her conference, so we don't want like too much going on, because there's so much, isn't there? And we don't. It can wait till the month after. But I really feel to engage the musicians, the worship people, the wild worshippers, and the people that want the glory. That's where my heart is really at for this year. I want to go deeper in knowing how to engage the glory. That the Lord's talking to me a lot about spiritual architecture and the throne room and the cloud of his glory, lots of things about that. So I'm kind of holding that to see how should I facilitate that with all the wonderful music makers. So we are going to start Sound Collective again, but like I said, it's slowly. We're not rushing into anything. We're just finding the rhythm, finding the flow. So it's been great to have you guys. Have I forgotten anything, Rach?
As Tanya got some art, did you say the Artist's Way or something?
Yeah, I was just going to share On my Patreon page, I will post it on the Facebook page for you guys. But I've just started on my Patreon page. We started yesterday. It's called The Artist Way. It's Julia Cameron. She has this beautiful book, and it's all about the artist spending time with themselves. Everything we say today, it's very disciplined in the sense of how do I see myself as an artist? Do I own myself as an artist? What is my artist child like? Do I play? Can I take myself on an artist date? And what does that look like? So on my Patreon page, we just started that. It's about a 12-week journey. You don't have to do any of it. You can just be a part of how everybody else is encountering it. But yeah, I would love to have you guys join us on that as well.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay, we love you guys so much. Thank you for, you can unmute maybe and bring everyone on the screen if you like. Just Joshua's been doing all the techie stuff in the background, so thank you, Josh, and he helps me with the edits. So you'll see this on YouTube.
We love you guys.
Yeah.
Until next time, we got 2 months of creating. Don't forget to post on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You guys are awesome. I hope you've
making
been
the sound.
inspired.
Good
Create.
night. Love you. Bye-bye. Till next time.
Oh, bye, Andrew.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.